Welcome to Talk Dirt to Me, where two farmers shatter myths and take on the top issues facing America's farmers. Here's your hosts, Logan and Bobby Lee.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, another great evening.
What a great evening it is, man. Because we're here on Thursday night, so we've had plenty of processing time.
That's what yesterday morning, I woke up, it was raining and nasty and just beautiful. I was like, it is a beautiful day.
Yes. Dude, it was.
To be an American.
How late did you stay up?
Not that late, really. Hell, it was over. And I know 4 years ago we had the same kind of issue.
I wasn't doing it. I wasn't going to bed. I was like, I'm watching because I ain't going to see. Because that's what I did, like you said, with Biden.
But no, I mean, and again, in 20, we thought, oh, yeah, he's got it. Like, everything, financial markets, everything was reacting as if Trump had won. But, because we had the TV on, and we never turn on, like, actual news, but we put it on Fox News.
That's how we were, yeah.
But, of course, I was refreshing my X feed, like, my thumb, like, it was cramping. I was refreshing it so much. And, like, a bunch of people were already calling, like, North Carolina and even Georgia. But, like, they wouldn't officially call it. And so the outlets that were like, yeah, this is going to be all but over. Like, her path is pretty much, she has to sweep every single swing state remaining. And it became very apparent very quickly. And then, of course, she got none of the swing states.
Yeah, ended up. Well, hold on. Before we get in too deep, we got two things we need you to do. First, we need you to leave us a rating and a review. We didn't have to eat a ghost pepper. I forgot to mention that. We did not.
Well, we knew it was going to be a long shot.
We did. And I told everybody that it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, we told you guys you sucked, and y'all didn't prove us wrong.
You didn't prove us wrong. Come on, man. What's the deal here? Spotify gave it a real run for their money. I will give it to that. You Apple guys, I still get so frustrated because, again, I can see how many downloads we get on each app. We get a shit ton of more downloads than we have ratings. So there is still some of you asshats out there that listen all the time, and you don't leave us a rating and review.
Well, it frustrates me on my YouTube, people that don't hit the thumbs up.
Yeah.
And I know some people may just have it auto playing, and you're not even, hey, that's fine, I'll take the views. But about 1 in 10 that watch one of my YouTube videos, it doesn't matter if it gets, 20,000 views or 2,000 views, only 1 out of 10 is going to hit thumbs up.
Yeah.
And I kind of made a challenge for the fundraiser I was doing for the hurricane relief. And it's like, look, it was based on the number of likes. And that one I got up to like 1 in 5. So I was like,
really?
You assholes can do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Well, that's what, look.
Leave a quick rating and review if you're watching on YouTube. Give it the thumbs up.
And if you're listening on Apple, it's so easy. I know some people are like, man, I don't know how to do it. Now, I don't have an iPhone, but like if you're on Apple, you literally just scroll to the bottom. Like, go to our Talk Dirt to Me page, and I think don't you just scroll to the very bottom. All you got to do is literally just hit the 5 stars. You don't even have to write us anything, which I love it when people write us.
Yeah.
But yeah, you scroll to the very bottom and tap the 5 stars.
Which I guess I'm an asshole because that's one that I listen to regularly, and I'm just not rating it. But they never ask me to rate it.
Yeah, so we got to ask.
I'm doing this just out of the goodness of my heart.
There you go. But guys, look, we can't stress it enough. I truly believe that our show is up there with the best of them. Especially in the agriculture podcast realm. But in podcasts in general, I think we're up there with the best of them. And the one thing that holds us back from really breaking through to the next level is the fact that we have a good bit of ratings and reviews, but we could honestly easily double the amount that we have. Like, we have the listeners to do it. We just need you to do it. Same with Spotify. Just leave us that rating and a review would be awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, comment to us. So yeah, and I would like to know, did anybody watch and see our new intro? Did you see our intro on YouTube? Have you seen it yet?
I'm trying to remember. I know I saw it, but it seemed like I might have been at work where the computer doesn't have speakers, so I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
But I know I
made it short and sweet. It's just but I was like, man, this makes us just look that much more professional. So we got to check it out. Let me know what you think about it. And you need to go to agsaga.com. Check it out.
Yep. Y'all know the discount code TALKDIRT, all caps, all one word. We are Yeah, like we mentioned last time, the toy bundles. We're getting close to Christmas shopping time. Get on there, check them out. All the good stuff too. I mean, and it's not the junk. But hey, also if you're getting ready to stock up on bayonet wrap, I think they got some deals coming up. They're trying to, they don't want to hold that inventory over to next year. If you want to go ahead and stock up, get a good deal on some bayonet wrap, check it out. All the other good parts, supplies, materials, you name it.
Use that code, Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word. All right. What you drinking tonight? Water?
Single barrel Dickel.
Okay.
What about you?
The Devil's Cut, man. That's just
Devil's Cut.
Yeah, that's become one of my regulars. It's affordable, and it's very available. Eagle Rare was my go-to when you could find it and it was affordable. Now it's expensive and it's hard to find. So the Devil's Cut, it's always there. So, and I mean, honestly, besides the nights we record, now I'll tell you, with the election stuff coming up, I had to drink quite a few nights. Like, I was just like, man, I was on edge, waiting, trying to see what was going to happen. And the polls, I don't know what's up with that poll in Iowa, but it was on some toot or something that night. It had like a 14-point lead to Harris out of nowhere or something crazy.
Well, over the weekend, like the Des Moines Register, had a poll that's like said she was up, which, I mean, election hadn't even happened yet. I don't know if that was just, them, exit polling, early voters, whatever, but that she was up by 3 points. He ended up winning Iowa by like 14 points. They were off by, I mean, you might as well say 20 points. Like,
yeah. And even the media was actually talking about that poll, like which I watched. I watched some of it on CNN just for the hilarity. And
I flipped it over to MSNBC, but it was still early enough that they were like, I mean, it was pretty somber, but it wasn't like, it wasn't full blown like, because I remember in 2016, me and our buddy Lee, who'd been a guest, were in a hotel room in Montana elk hunting, and which of course we were an hour behind out there, and it was such a landslide then, like it was over, and we laughed our ass off watching MSNBC.
Oh yeah, they were hilarious.
They weren't quite to that point. They were like, well, there's, they were getting ready to accept it, but they were still in a little bit of denial.
Well, that's how Marcy and I watched, because she was like, she had texted me that day because she said, "Are you going to be podcasting tonight?" I said, "Not tonight." So she said, "I want to have a drink and I want to watch the election." And I said, "All right, we will." So we were watching, and it was funny, man, because we watched, it was CNN or one of them. No, Brian Anderson or whatever his name is. I can't remember. But we watched it for a little bit, and then we flipped to Fox News and watched it. And Marcy, she said, she noticed it. She said, the difference is, she said, they sound like losers on MSNBC or whatever, the one we were watching. She said they actually they were kind of talking like people that had already lost. Yeah. And then you went to Fox News and they're like, they're like upbeat. Because, I mean, and so you could read the difference in the rooms. And this was still pretty early in the night. But I was tripping out because Pennsylvania, it was like 96% reported, and they still would not call it. And I'm like, it is tripping me out that they're like, because they know.
Well, they didn't officially call Pennsylvania until sometime on Wednesday.
Yeah.
After it was already all over, because he ended up winning all the other swing states. So Pennsylvania didn't end up, I mean.
It wouldn't have mattered at that point. But I was going to look, I'm pretty sure. So right now, see the Associated Press on Google, it actually they still haven't shown. They show Nevada is 91% reported. He's going to win it on here. And then Arizona is still 76%. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's what a lot of people pointed out. Florida has really big population. I don't know, but a lot bigger than these other states. And they had all the vote counted like within 45 minutes the polls closing.
That's
how can they, Now again, Florida is maybe it's because they learned their lesson in 2000 with the hanging chads and all that, and but now it's like every state should be like that.
It should. There is no reason.
And I know some of these states aren't swing states, so you're not even paying attention, when they call like Tennessee and Arkansas and states like that real early.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's that we're that good at counting in Tennessee, or that, it's just like, oh yeah, he was going to win that one anyway. But,
well, I did chuckle, and I appreciated this because, I've said this before, and we got plenty of listeners in Texas, and I love Texas, and they went very red this year. I was proud. But I've said before, people always like to be like, the day Texas goes blue, we're in trouble. And I'm like, the day Tennessee goes blue, we're in trouble. Because Tennessee was literally called with 0% reported.
Well, and there were 2 states that didn't even have a single blue county. That was West Virginia and Oklahoma.
Nice.
But I don't know on a percentage of just like the total vote, which I don't even know. I know Tipton County, because I looked up our results just for the county. We were 75%.
Yeah.
Trump, our Senate, and the one House seat that was up.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was only normally
people pretty much voted straight ticket. It looked like, 'cause it was like it was 75% for all the Republican candidates.
Right now, we're only showing 3 counties that are blue in Tennessee, and that's Nashville area. I can't zoom in any further, but
what are the other 2?
Memphis. These 2 here, these are red. That's not Knoxville is actually still red.
Okay, but why is it a different shade?
Because it's not been called yet.
Okay.
It's leaning red.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. What is that one right there? That's above Memphis. Is that Haywood?
Yeah, it's Haywood.
I'm going to say Haywood is usually blue. Memphis is...
But what was the total percentage of the votes he got in the state of Tennessee?
He got 64% of the votes. She got 34%.
I just wonder how we compare to like Oklahoma that...
Let's see.
Didn't even have a single red
64.
county.
All right, Oklahoma, 66. So we're about the same.
So a little.
Yeah, but that's pretty awesome. I see that. Yeah, not a single.
But yeah, of course, everybody knows all the results. We've seen all the memes. We don't
like you look at 66 Texas, he's 56%. So it's closer.
Yeah, but it's still.
That's a good. Texas made me nervous in the last election because it was blue for quite a while, and then it finally shifted.
Well, there's 2 things that I hope are lasting out of all this that really don't have anything to do much with what Trump does or does not accomplish. And that's one, that the mainstream media is just dead.
Yeah. And legacy media. Yeah.
Yeah, legacy media, whatever you want to call them, are so dead. Like, they couldn't have been more wrong once again. Now, I don't know. Like, our advertisers going to keep advertising with them. I mean, I guess as long as people are watching. But I feel like, which, of course, we said we tuned in, but, like, we tune in once every 4 years.
Yeah, we ain't keeping their lights on.
I don't even cut on, open up my YouTube TV app.
I had to subscribe to a provider like that night because I didn't even have anything to watch it.
But I still feel like, the baby boomers are kind of that generation. They still, well, I know, like our dads out here in the farm office, you come out here tomorrow morning about 7 o'clock, they're going to have it on CBS.
Yeah.
They're going to be watching our local.
Even though he'll have it on Nora O'Donnell and them, and he hates them. Yeah.
Well, but it's because they watch the local news on there. And I'm like, why do you watch the local news?
Yeah.
Like, what on earth
what do
is
you need to
in
know
Memphis that you really want to know about?
Yeah, another murder is in Memphis.
We got these fancy phones that have the weather forecast. That used to be the only reason we watched the local news. But anyway, but you still got that generation. Yeah, and then local news goes off, and then the CBS morning news, and in the evening news, in the evening, yada, yada, 20 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever, 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Probably should only be 20 minutes.
Yes.
60 minutes on Sunday evening as the NFL goes off. And people that just get caught up watching that, and they're low information type voters, they don't pay attention to politics, and they're like, oh, hell, Trump's a fascist.
Yeah.
They said so on CBS. I can't vote for him.
Yep.
But that's our generation and younger, like, does not watch the news. So I hope that we get that. And 2, because, I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, that was a teetotal ass kicking.
Yes.
Does the Democrat Party, are they smart enough to look themselves in the mirror and say, yeah, boys, we effed up? Like, not only did we, stage a coup and shoved a candidate down everybody's throat that we should have known wasn't going to win, but we've got, like, this, all the woke bullshit. Like, let's get, the Bill Clinton of the 90s, like that type of Democrat, might have a chance nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, his famous
Moderate.
line, I think, which I guess 92 would have been, he said, "It's the economy, stupid." I think that was his famous thing. It's the economy, stupid. Like that was all that mattered. Well, no, now it's like we got to have
abortion
books in the library that are basically like pornographic books for kids to read. We're going to fund transgender surgeries and allow kids to go through gender transition without even their parents' permission, and just all that bullshit. Women, this woman can compete. Now she was born a man, but like what? Like that is insane. So do you see them? Have a kind of push the fringe out of the party, like that crazy bullshit that is like the vocal like 2%, and just get back to like, now we're just basic democratic values, protecting the blue collar worker, stuff that, I mean, honestly is much more of a right wing opinion now because they've gone so far left.
Well, I've been wondering that, because that was one thing. Harold Ford Jr., which he's from Memphis.
Yeah, I was like, one of our local boys on the
we met him in Washington.
He was the token Democrat that was behind the desk for Fox.
But he was good.
No,
he was good.
He was too.
Like
he knew. Like when I was watching, he was very much like it.
And he even said himself, he was like, our party is not the same party that it used to be. And he said, and that's why we took the beating that we took.
They've let those fringe idiots take over, but they let them do it. Like, Biden is an old school Democrat. Hell, the sumbitch's got I guess, I'm used to talking about animals. I'm going to say 3 feet in the grave. He's got 1 foot in the grave. Like, he's old as hell. Like, he didn't used to be like that.
Yeah.
Like, Biden from the 80s would be a Republican nowadays.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the thing that I wonder is the problem that I see for the Democrats is they have created a generation of radical left wing. Like, you have a bunch of the moderate ones, and hell, honestly, I think they voted for Trump. A lot of them. I think it's part of what happened here. But
Trump's got 4 or 5 people that may end up being in his cabinet that were Democrats. Yeah.
But like,
Trump was a Democrat.
He was. But man, like, there's countless videos of these people. Like, I saw one today. Some dude who's like a teacher at like the University of Michigan or somewhere, or Georgia. It's something crazy. He literally says, if you voted for Trump, I hope you kill yourself. And like,
may have been Oregon. It seemed like I saw somebody at the University of Oregon and they got suspended. And
he needed to be. But like, that's the bad thing is they've created this group of people that are that way.
And they're so delusional because these people can't name a single, like, look, guys, he was president just 4 years ago. And what was the worst thing he did? No, don't tell me something mean he said or some way he hurt your feelings. What did he do that really hurt you? Yeah. And that was my point. I said it on my YouTube. I said, even if you're on the losing side, just find comfort knowing for the next 4 years, you're going to have more freedoms than you otherwise would have.
Yeah.
And I know the comeback I'll get on it will be, what about women's reproductive rights?
He's going to take away women's rights.
Okay. Listen, because Vance actually broke it down better on Rogan, I thought, than Trump did. They have actually the exact same position on abortion and federal control over abortion that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had. And that was that it's not a federal issue.
It's a state issue.
It's a state issue. Trump don't give a shit about abortion.
But the people don't care. I saw a girl that I went to school with that's a huge liberal, and she was like, because that's what some people were like, it's state issues. And she's like, it doesn't matter.
If you live in a and I guarantee you got Trump alone in a room, we're like, dude, are you, like, he's not even really pro-life. Like, he don't give a damn about that. Like, he's like, no, I'm more worried about the economy. Yeah. Worried about, the Middle East not, turning the entire world into a ashtray with nuclear weapons. Like, I'm worried about real shit, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Look, and that's where, like, I'm not you got to look at everything because honestly, like, I would say Trump is not pro-life enough for me because I am very, very, very pro-life. But
I think Vance broke it down, and he's like, he said, morally he is pro-life, but when it comes to the law, he said it's settled. Like, it's not a federal issue. Like, let the states decide. I think it's an awful thing for a woman to do, but if you live in a state that allows it, and that's your choice you make your choice. Yeah. If you don't live in a state, you can cross state lines. It's not,
Oh man, but it ain't that simple to them. Like I said, and it was funny because I argued with this chick.
That is a single issue for some people. Like,
oh
that.
yeah. Well, I argued with this chick for a while on Facebook, and I don't normally do it. I've quit like political debating, but this one chick, she was like, Trump, if he wins, it'll look like Nazi Germany around here. And she said, and I'm saying that as somebody who voted for him in 2016, and she said, thank God I was able to change my mind. And what? I commented back to her.
That makes no sense.
I said, for starters, the fact that you were able to vote again and differently proves he didn't turn it into Nazi Germany, because he didn't take away. If he was actually
that's a damn good point. Yeah.
If he was the dictator that everyone says he is, you wouldn't vote again, because he would have, like, that would not be an option. But I told her, I said, we literally have a track record of the guy. It ain't Nazi Germany. Like, that's the stupidest thing, but that's the dumb crap that even Kamala was saying, like they're Nazis, like calling all of us Nazis if you vote for Trump. And it's like, dude, good gosh.
And so part of me, because as much as I would love for the Democrats to stay just absolutely insanely stupid, and again, the Republicans will start to piss me off for long too. So,
yeah, we need a good competition. You honestly need competition.
Right. And really, I would love to see a third party break in, which I think there's a good argument for.
The gay party?
No, that the Republican Party doesn't exist anymore. Really.
Yeah. Well, we're like more moderate now.
Well, and like this whole, like Trump, I think we may look back, and I won't be, but just as a society 100 years from now and say like Trump ended the Republican Party as it was.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he was a former Democrat. Now he's got all these Democrats, that are going to be with him, but and part of it may be because the left moved so far left that the Republican Party was able to kind of just be in the center.
A little to the center, yeah.
But yeah, I would love for it not to be a two-party stranglehold and everything. But
they're going to do the gay party.
I don't care what they call it, libertarian, conservative.
I would have liked to have seen the Libertarians gain. I'd like to see the Libertarians gain enough to where they at least could debate.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking.
I'm thinking some elections where it's like, oh my God, like, I mean, I know a lot of Democrats were just disgusted that, Kamala literally got forced on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are kind of my two main things that I hope may come out of this, is that mainstream media is just completely dead. And maybe they'll have a reset and be like, look, everybody knows we're full of shit now. Like, they're obviously not paying attention to us because we beat that drum forever, and he won in a landslide.
And thank God he won. Not only, the best part was that he also won the popular vote.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that was just the icing on the cake.
Well, a lot of people I follow on X, they're like, it's only a question of the popular vote now. And they're like, and now, like, he won Florida so big, they're like, the popular vote's in play.
Yeah.
But the other thing, and somebody else pointed this out, I don't remember who it was, and I thought it was pretty hilarious. How effing stupid were they to pull the shit they did in 20?
Oh, yeah, that they had that many more votes.
Well, I'm not even to that yet, but that's another good point. But one, if they had just let him win in 20, they'd be done with him by now.
Yeah.
Now they would argue, well, but I still would have had to deal with him for 8 years, whether that was then or now. But no. Now he's going to have the House and the Senate.
And he actually has to pick 2 more Supreme Court justices, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it depends on when they retire. But yes, one of the few times I felt like made a very accurate prediction when he won in 16, because I wasn't fully on board. Like, I voted for him. I did not vote for him in the primary.
No, I didn't either.
I actually voted in the Democratic primary.
Did you?
I voted for Bernie. I was like, I don't know who I want to vote for out of these 17 Republicans, but I know I don't want to vote for Hillary, so I voted for Bernie.
Yeah, just try to. I voted, but I think I might have voted, I don't remember, maybe Ted Cruz. I don't remember. But I wasn't fully on the Trump train in 16.
And so when he won, because we didn't know what's this wild man going to do.
Yeah.
But I said, if nothing else, because we knew he was going to get to replace 1.
Yeah.
And likely 2, and it ended up being 3 Supreme Court justices. And I was like, that's going to shape the future of the country for decades.
Yeah.
And so he got to replace 3. But Biden's not going to get, well, I guess there still could be time. Somebody pointed out today, like, what if I guess it was Sotomayor. What if she steps down and he nominates Kamala?
Oh, gosh.
I was like, bro, like, there's one thing, even the liberal Supreme Court justices that I disagree with, they're highly intelligent human beings.
Yeah.
That Kamala is not a highly intelligent human being.
No.
Like, I don't even know that. And I guess because they've still technically got control of the Senate, like they could I don't know if they could force it through or not. But anyway, like Trump's literally he very well by 2028, half the Supreme Court or over half could have been nominated by him.
By him, yes.
Well,
yeah.
and it was so stupid on that subject. And this one's going to end up being completely political. Sorry. I got a couple of ag stories we need to hit on.
We're going to get into the ag
don't talk
side.
Politics guy, man. And Logan hadn't broke into his God Bless the USA.
I know, I haven't even sang that yet. I was going to sing.
Well, we've decided he's got to sing every episode.
Oh, man, I know. People really enjoyed that.
It was such a hit. But, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, everybody, like, a lot of people were trying to get her to step down and let Obama replace her.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like, it's easy. Like, if you're, that would have been the smart thing to do. But they were so arrogant and convinced. And, she was only the second woman on the Supreme Court and the first woman president. Hillary was going to get to name her replacement. And it was just going to be
history in the making.
Made for, the history books or whatever. And then, of course, Hillary got her ass beat, and Trump got to replace her.
Yeah.
So,
it's just man. Look,
Trump got to name her replacement. Excuse me.
It's enjoyable. I'm just going to be honest. Like, this was just as enjoyable to me as in 2016. Like, this was actually probably more enjoyable to me.
I think it was way more enjoyable.
Well, I think it was better that he lost in 2020. Not for the country. Like, I wish he would have won in 2020.
I'm honestly, yes, because of that point. Because I guess I'd have to look back. Because I guess in 2016 he may have had the House and the Senate both.
Yeah, and the Republicans wouldn't do shit.
Well,
they wouldn't work with him.
And Trump, and he's even admitted everything was so dysfunctional because
he didn't know what he was doing.
Washington's such a shithole, and everybody, like, he had no idea how it worked, which was actually probably wasn't a good thing there early on, but it's why a lot of us love him because he wasn't part of the swamp. Yeah, he couldn't get shit done even though he had control of everything. Now he knows the way things work. He's got the House, he's got the Senate, and it's. Yeah, I mean... Well,
and the Republican Party is different now than it was then. Guys have realized there's still some of those people in there, but they've seen the tide shift, and I feel like they know now, because here's the deal. The Republicans, all right, we won by a landslide, but the Democrat Party is obviously broken right now. But the Republican Party, they have the opportunity here to, like, really cement themselves or to totally screw themselves. Yeah. Because if they don't come through and really make some shit happen, because Trump, like, I have high hopes for him, hope he does this stuff, but he's out after 4 anyways. So it's not going to matter for, like, his long-term political career. Hell, and he's old, too. But the Republican Party, if they flounder this next 4 years... they're going to be in a similar boat as the Democrats are this next election, I think.
So I'm really eager. Does he really put Elon in a role of, like, fixing government inefficiencies, which I don't know that even the smartest man in the world, which Elon may be, has the ability.
Oh, the Democrats said he's dumb.
To fix that. To bring this back to ag, seeing what role RFK does end up being in and what kind of changes they make to ag, what are they able to make to ag? Is that a major priority for them? I don't know. I'm a little nervous about the ag stuff. I mean, just because there is some unknown there.
Well, let's get into that. I got some stuff I want to talk about on the ag sector. So I'm going to run down first the guy that was initially floated around, and this is all just a. Right now, it's kind of hearsay. I do know that Joel Salatin has been contacted about being involved in the group. And Joel, for people that don't know, he's a huge regenerative ag. He's like the godfather of regenerative ag. Him and Gabe Brown are like neck and neck. Joel has several books. I have his books. I got several of them. Polyface Farms is the name of his farming operation. Joel pretty sure Joel uses no herbicides, no tillage, like any of that stuff. He does a ton of chickens and things like that. But I'm really intrigued. Now, one of the big names that I saw floating around for the actual Secretary of Ag was Thomas Massie. Now, he's U.S. representative in Kentucky. Is he a congressman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's in Kentucky.
Kind of a libertarian Republican.
Yeah. He's been really cool. Yeah. It says he's known for his libertarian leaning views, advocacy for reduced federal regulation. He co-sponsored the Prime Act.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite politicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a man crush on him.
Well, it says here, he proposed a constitutional amendment to limit federal regulation of certain food products, reflecting his commitment to decentralizing agriculture oversight. Now, in July, actually, of this year, he expressed interest in serving as Secretary of Ag under Trump. It says if he's appointed as Secretary, this is some research I was doing on him earlier, he would likely pursue policies that would reduce federal intervention in ag, promote local and small-scale farming, and advocate for deregulation to empower farmers. His approach would emphasize individual choice and market-driven solutions within the ag sector.
Yeah, a very libertarian approach.
Yeah, which is funny because Bobby Lee's got several names that have also been floated around. And this guy right here, from what I read about him, this would line up pretty well with RFK. Now, some of the names you mentioned would not line up very well with RFK.
I don't think RFK will be the Secretary of Ag. Like, I don't even know that he may just be like an advisor to Trump or something.
Yeah.
First of all, I think they'd go over like a turd in a punch bowl. Like
you'd have some very,
very big influential people in ag that, I mean,
the farm.
Because RFK has some really wild, and I think. Which he has said it in a way, it was like, we need an exit ramp to get away from the way we're currently farming. And like, okay, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but his like wholesale, like, I mean, if he's being honest, if he could snap his fingers and like totally stop the use of glyphosate, just as one example, I think he would. And obviously I think that would be a disaster. We need that exit. If we're going to get away from stuff like that, we need to transition away from it. It's not going to be an overnight kind of thing.
That's where, it was like it was 2 episodes ago or something. I mean, we talked about how commodity farming is kind of it's a broken thing right now. Like it's kind of a dying industry because we're being clobbered, like we said, by Brazil, and we produce too much. And so RFK, one of the things that like him and Massie both said they would implement policies favoring small scale to medium scale farming operations. Now, I don't know exactly what size. They don't list acreage, but both of them are like anti-BTOs. They're not for the large scale farming. And I don't know if they go after, because we don't get just huge crop subsidies anymore. Like I've talked about that. We don't get that much money anymore, but like our insurance is subsidized. So would they take away crop insurance subsidies? Because there's a huge operator that just got smoked for that, for fraud crop insurance for millions.
When we talked about having on as a guest.
Yes. And just got smoked. And so look, it's no secret here. I would love to see farming return to small and medium size. Like I would love to not have the big BTOs. I've talked about before, but
if somebody gets to 15, 20,000 acre size without using massive subsidies and things like that, and just
if free
market capitalism allows them to get to that point, maybe they've maybe an operation where it's somebody that has 4 or 5 kids that have come back to the farm with them. So
if they're not propped up by the government, hey, then they're just good businessmen.
But having, some, I don't know, what would you consider medium size, like 1,000 to 5,000 acres?
That's what I'm picturing is 5,000 being on the high side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And see, like I was kind of tinkering around, like what would be some things if appointed? This is just total scenario, we don't know. But if, let's say, Thomas Massie was appointed Secretary of Ag and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he's just kind of, like you said, he's like an advisor. So their policies, because I was like, well, what would be some policies that they could implement or do to favor small-scale and regenerative ag? And one of them, it says reducing federal regulations on small producers. Massie, this would make sense.
Yeah, because, regulations, whether we're talking about farming or anything else, favor the big companies.
Yes.
And it's funny how, a lot of these, politicians and activists and all, they think, oh, we're going to put more regulations on this industry. But all that does is make the big guys bigger and stronger, because regulations, they're a barrier to entry for any small to medium size outfits.
Yep. And that's where Massie, being the fact that he sponsored the Prime Act, it says he would aim to ease federal restrictions on small meat processors, which we have talked about before.
The Prime
would be
Act
awesome.
is something I've called my senators. Because our Tennessee Cattlemen's Association, I'll put them on blaster for a second. They do not support the Prime Act because they're assholes that are NCBA bootlickers, and NCBA won't support it because they're beholden to the meat packers. But the Prime Act, just real quick, is the one that allows you to sell meat direct to consumer without having to be stamped USDA inspected, as long as you're not selling it across state lines, I believe.
Yeah.
And your state can decide to allow that. But yeah, you got the NCBA doesn't like that because they're
in bed with the big foe.
Yeah, the meat packer overlords don't like it, and so then, yeah.
Well, let's see another potential: reforming subsidies. Both may seek to overhaul farm subsidies, redirecting support from large agribusinesses to smaller, sustainable farms, thereby leveling the playing field. And I feel like part of that would be through crop insurance subsidies, or because, all right, if crop insurance, let's say, like we were kind of roughly figuring, if you were paying with government subsidies, I don't know, I can kind of tell you roughly what it would be. Let me get an idea here real quick. All right. So without government subsidies, you would probably be paying, you could be paying anywhere around $20 an acre for crop insurance.
Yeah.
So if you got a guy that works, 500 acres and he pays $20, that's $10,000. That's still a pretty good chunk of change. But he could probably, he might say, well, I could have some insurance, whatever. But if you got a dude that works like, let's say 35,000 acres, $20 an acre, that's $700,000 for insurance. That's a pretty damn big chunk of change. You would have a lot of guys that would just not have crop insurance anymore, and then you'd have them take a hit. And with no crop insurance at that size, you would go broke. You would be out of the game. So I don't know if that's one of the ways they would kind of alter the game. Another here says Kennedy has expressed intentions to weaponize regulatory agencies to enforce environmental standards, which could impose stricter controls on large farming operations. So that would tighten the reins. What is it? We talked about the, what are they called? The close CAFOs.
Yeah.
The CAFOs, that would destroy CAFOs. Not all of them. There's some that are, I'm sure, by the book, but you'd have a lot of those. Like, they're the guys that would be clobbered by that. Then the last one I was going to say, and this is the one that really is interesting. This is the one that really has me wondering what's going to happen. And this combination of Massie and RFK would be, I could see this happening. And the fact that Joel Salatin has been brought into the mix.
Which of course, we're all just speculating what they could do. Like, I don't know if this has been, floated out there as actual policy they're considering. But.
Yeah. I do know, unless he's a liar, Joel Salatin has accepted a position in their department. Okay. Not as Secretary of Ag, but maybe in an advisor role, but he did put out that he had been contacted and he had accepted. So Joel is in the mix, which Joel is 100% regenerative ag. He is all about it.
I think that's great. Yeah,
I do too. And so, but it is such a, all right, so I got on my group that I've shouted out before on here, my Small and Beginning Farmers United on Facebook. We got 32,000 members now. And I put up 2 polls because I was like, let's see what people say. So the first one, I turned off all commenting because I was like, I don't want a political debate in here. This group does really well. I'm the only admin of 32,000. And people can report, and every now and then I'll get a report and somebody will be being a dickhead, and I just ban them. I just get them out of the group. So we've got a pretty dang good group here. So the first poll, I said, in light of recent election, potential regen ag guys put into places of power in the USDA, I want to run a few polls. Here's the first. Would you like to see an emphasis on shifting to regenerative agriculture methods or stay how we currently are? Now, most of these guys, I would say 90% of them, I mean, they're mostly small farmers, small and beginning farmers. We have several guys that work several thousand acres in here, but most of them are commodity guys.
Yeah, and conventional farmers, they're not organic or anything.
Yeah, just your standard. So bring on regenerative ag is at 63% of the vote and stayed the same as 36. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Now, the other poll, I said, do you see RFK Jr. and Thomas Massie as good steps forward for agriculture in our country? And not sure, because I was like, man, maybe some people don't know. Not sure is 25%. No was 11%. And yes was 62%.
That's a little overwhelming for yes, because I'm still, like, I think RFK is way out there on some stuff, and I think he's completely wrong on some of the science, because I've heard really smart people on the other side just point out and make really compelling arguments like, no, he's just wrong on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I definitely think his heart's in the right place, and I think, on a broader level, and it worries me because these changes are going to take years, decades, maybe generations to I don't know what it's going to look like 100 years from now. None of us do.
Yeah.
But, if I could look into the future and see, like, yeah, we are all back to, instead of 2%, 1.5%, or whatever the population farms, it's,
70%, and they all work 200 acres.
I want to say 10%, but I'm like, hell, that still sounds crazy. That'd be 5 times as many as now. But like I say, it's 10%. But yeah, and the average farm size is
500 acres.
Yeah, whatever, and it's all we figured out a way to do it without having to use chemicals. I mean,
that'd be awesome.
Like, you don't like spraying chemicals; it costs you a lot of money to spray chemicals.
Yeah,
the chemicals themselves, the fuel, the time, the equipment.
When I drink it makes my belly hurt. Like, man, damn, all the belly aches.
Yeah, and so I hope, because obviously this administration is going to be in place for 4 years. Hope JD.
Dude, I'd love to see him step in there after.
Maybe roll in there in 28.
What's the curse? The Beren, or what was the curse? Who was the vice president that never won? And they said Kamala had fallen victim to the curse, just like, oh crap, I can't remember who the other vice president was.
Gore.
Yes. What was that curse? It's like the Van Buren curse or something.
I don't know. I'm actually illiterate on that one.
Yeah, I'll have to look. It's some old famous curse that the vice president can't become the president.
Yeah.
But dude, no, JD is an absolute baller. Like, that was one thing Trump even said, like, in his acceptance speech. He was like, JD is awesome. He was like, I can tell him, I need you to go do this interview at CNN. And he said, and most guys would be like, oh man. JD's like, all right. And he said, and then he obliterates them.
Well, but I just hope that, because like a lot of these policies, I'm like, all right, well, say, we do get Thomas Massie, Secretary of Ag, and he makes all these sweeping changes. Well, and then say whatever happens in 4 years,
the Van Buren curse.
And then everything gets wiped out. So I'm like,
I know, yeah.
Especially when it's changes that it's like, look, these changes are going to, like, we're not going to see the benefits right away.
Yeah.
And so you can't give up on this after 4 or 5 or maybe even 10 years. It may be a generation or two before we fully, but my grandkids and great grandkids are a lot healthy and a lot more food secure.
Yeah.
Because we made these changes and maybe suffered for a few years. But I just do worry about the patients, especially
in Washington.
Well, and even like the big farmers who are, to be real, have more influence.
Yep.
And who maybe are the ones that are doing really well financially right now. And all of a sudden you make them change how they're doing things, or maybe you don't make them, but the system changes enough that it kind of pushes everybody in a different direction. Well, I mean, they're the ones getting fat right now, rich and fat. They're not going to like that. And so I don't know. It's going to be one of those deals where you're going to have to be in it for the long haul. And I hope that, if it is a reasonable plan, we can get people bought in. And then politically, we don't have another, administration.
Just undo it all.
Right. Come in and try to blow it all up.
Well,
because it's crazy. Like, if it really is like to make America healthy again, people pointed out, it's like Democrats now don't want to make America healthy because it's associated with Trump. Like they're like, no, we need more seed oil.
Yes.
Like, keep using the canola oil to fry those fries. Do not use the beef tallow. It's like never have they been so against like
healthy foods. Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like what planet are we living on?
Oh, we've like reversed. And you mentioned I wanted to mention a couple of the guys, because this is the interesting thing. Again, I want to emphasize, Joel has been contacted. It sounds like he has accepted. That's a good thing. The interesting part is, like you said, these large farm operations, they do have a ton of influence. A lot of them have actually been in politics. Like a lot of them, we got one around here. Hell, he served in the political realm for several years, and they have a tremendous amount of pull and power. I mean, I watched them. Some land that they had been working came up for rent, and there's one that I went and I bid on as well. It was around here, and they're not in this area, but they farm in this area. Well, I was like, hell, I'm gonna try. It was some really, it's primo ground, like ice cream ground, and I bid $250 an acre, most I've ever bid. And I was like losing sleep over that. I knew it wouldn't get it. Like, cause I had talked to buddies that kind of knew about it, and they were like, that ain't going to get it. Like, well, I'm going to go just throw my hat in the ring. I said, that's all I can do. And so I went, I bid, submitted my bid, whatever. Well, I didn't, they did a private opening of the bids, which is odd to me anyways. But the people that had it had been in politics. They got a lot of pull. They got a big name, and then they got all this stuff. There was somebody that bid $308, and they bid somehow, miraculously, by the sheer will of God and luck, I guess. They just so bid $312, and they retained that ground. And that's what we were like, now how in the hell did they know $312
come that close?
Come that close. Now they couldn't do $309 because that would just be too damn obvious. So they're like, we'll make it $312. But I'm like, all right. So there is things going on here, and that's where I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's like pumped with RFK, and he's all on this Make America Healthy Again thing, which I love it. I'm for it. But he's like, we need to revolutionize agriculture. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, you'll adapt. Like, you can adapt to it. And I'm like, I'll transition with what I got to do. But I said, but you're underestimating the level of pushback that they're going to receive from these guys that have farmed this way for 50 years. And they're working huge acres of ground. And they have huge names in the industry. And, look, I am a member of Farm Bureau. Hell, I'm the chairman of Young Farmers. Not a very good chairman, I will say that. But I'm the chairman. But I will just tell you, Farm Bureau would be one of those industries. And Zippy, you said he's in consideration, who is the president of Farm Bureau.
American Farm Bureau, yeah.
So I can already tell you, Farm Bureau is not going to turn its back on the big guys, because that's where the bulk of their revenue comes from. At the end of the day.
Right. And so, I don't know. Because part of me, I want to look at things, and step back, that 100,000 foot view or whatever, and yeah, we have been doing things that way, but it hasn't been that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can look it up. What year glyphosate even became available? Like,
Yeah.
like we've been growing food for this planet long before Roundup, and we'll be growing it long after. And just, of course, that's one tiny example, but you know, well, like we've been saying, we're growing too much commodity crops anyway.
Well, would you rather? Here's the question that I would pose. And yeah, you're actually right. In the grand scheme of growing food, this like monoculture, glyphosate, herbicide pattern, that's actually a pretty new thing. But all right, if you had this, you were going to look like, let's look from the 100,000 foot view, whatever. Would you rather have a time machine? You could look in the future, and in 50 years or whatever, there's 10 farms that farm all of the ground in America.
So 10
10 massive mega corporations working millions of acres of ground. Or there's 10, like, I don't know, 100,000 farms working. You know, I'm not trying to do the math here, but you know what I'm getting at. Like, you have thousands and thousands of small farms, and like you said, homesteads, and this and that. Like,
you'd totally rather have, you know, the larger numbers of smaller, you know, acreage, smaller size farms. That's the whole thing. You know, the meat packer concentration.
Yeah,
what we've sacrificed, and we saw during COVID how. Yeah, it was maybe more efficient to have these enormous packing facilities that kill 5,000 cattle a day.
Yeah.
You know, rather than, you know, having 10 that kill 500.
Yeah.
Or, you know, 50 that kill 100 or whatever. But like with something like COVID, you're not very resilient. You've gained efficiency but sacrificed resiliency, and all of a sudden you have to close a shift down on a plant, or maybe you have to close an entire plant down because half the workers are testing positive. Oh shit! And it has to be closed down for how long were you supposed to quarantine there at first?
Oh hell, was it like 2 weeks or something?
I don't know, but anyway, and they didn't keep any plants dark for that long. But like, let's say you did. You had
9 days, I think. Yeah.
Plant that killed 5,000 head a day. That every worker there tested positive, they had to be closed for 9 or 10 days.
That's 45, 50,000 head of cattle.
Yeah, it doesn't take long for that to start showing up at the grocery store. Whereas, if you got, you know, instead you have 50 plants that are doing 100 cattle a day. Does that still come out to 5,000?
Yeah.
And even 3 or 4 of them have to shut down. Well, okay, you know.
They'll be back up and rolling before you.
Well, and not that big of a deal, you know, because we still got, you know, 90% of our production is still going. And so, yeah, you know, because, you know, if you've got these huge mega corporations, one, they can control everything. They can control price. You know, we find out that with meat packers, it's bad for the market, even whenever things are running smoothly. But, then when things go bad. So, no, I think absolutely. And I don't know, you know, because I've thought about that. I was like, so what do we do with all these acres? I don't know. You can put it back in forages. You know, everybody wants grass-fed beef. Obviously, we know it takes longer to finish them out. You know, maybe we can. And again, I'm not a big proponent of grass-finished beef. I'm about to put some steers on corn here in just a few weeks.
Good, fatten them up.
But I don't know, stuff like that.
Well, in some land, hell, man, I mean, some land just needs to be woods. You know, I mean,
you're
land.
Right. Yeah, it needs to lay out.
Yeah, there is some land that just honestly.
CRP, which, I mean, again, a CRP, then you're going. That's a government program. You know, I don't. But
do you think that
we have a lot of marginal acres? Whether that ground needs to be just left to grow up for wildlife habitat or put back into grazing operation, hell, let it grow up in timber.
Yeah.
Timber's a commodity.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. 40 years from now, you can harvest and make a bunch of money.
But that's kind of where I've made my bread and butter around here is I buy those acres that nobody wants because most people around here buying farmland want to crop it.
And we make the cocaine there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we make the cocaine.
Didn't quite make it to an hour.
You didn't think I was going to get it in there.
Well, I was like, I'm going to definitely bring up a singing reference. I was like, I'm not going to mention cocaine.
No, I knew it this whole time. I was like, when am I going to get in there?
Singing.
Cocaine. Burn on. If you want to hang out, you got to.
Hell, I know the
Take her out, cocaine.
There you go.
Come on.
I know it's Eric Clapton, but I can't. It's one of those where I can like hum along, and every now and then I'll get to a part where I was like, oh yeah, I can sing this part.
Well, that's the only part I know.
Yeah.
I'll try to think of one that I can drop at the moment that you'll know the words to. Some Luke Bryan.
But there's your song of the week. From
yeah. Dairies. I think big dairies killed the family dairy.
Well, that and much like in the meat packing industry, the
important.
No, I'm not very well versed on this because we don't have any dairies of any size anywhere near us. But in talking with buddies that do some dairy vet work and whatnot, the milk processors in those groups, there aren't that many outlets for you to sell your milk.
I gotcha.
Like if you just want to start the dairy division of LH Farms, where are you going to sell that milk?
And you can't sell raw.
Right. So I think most dairies, the way it works, you're either a part of a co-op or you're selling to a big, food processing, whatever group.
Yeah.
And there's so few of them, like they set the price and you just have to take it.
Gotcha.
And
unless you,
I'm probably butchering that, but it's for. I think that's kind of a very like kindergarten level breakdown of one of the issues. But yeah, and it's because, right, and then I'm sure it's just like with the cattle feeders, you got these mega dairies.
Well, we talked about it with Corbett.
That, of course, contracted to go, they sell all their milk to whatever, food group.
Yeah.
That bottles it, makes it in cheese, whatever they want to do with it. And they may get a special price. And then, the smaller guys. And then, if you're one of these huge food processing groups and, say you're in California in that big dairy country, if you can deal with just 2 or 3 mega dairies or 200 or 300 small dairies, well, you just want to deal with the
mega guys.
Yeah, it's just easy.
Yeah. Well, that's what, and that was one of the things, Corbett harped on was these people that were coming like out of California and buying like the massive dairies.
Yeah, well, they're leaving California because the land's, you can't afford to stay there.
Yeah.
They can sell that land. They put almond trees on it or whatever. But, I think you see a lot of the smaller dairies kind of more in our region somewhat, which again,
I feel like it's probably just kind of like what we talked about with the farm store and these niches. I think it's kind of this weird niche that's kind of coming back alive.
That's what I was going to say. The ones that seems like are making it work, they have like started bottling their own milk.
Yep.
Private labeled, where you can come in their farm store and buy a local product. You
get some lotion with their goat milk or whatever.
Well, or they got a creamery and like who doesn't love ice cream? That sort of thing. Maybe they're even making cheeses, and so they're hitting a niche.
Yeah. Again, we keep harping on it, but there's a reason we keep harping on it.
Niche. That's the new sustainability.
Yeah, niche crops. That's what I would, if I was in the industry, or if I got a call, I'd be like, we need to urge farmers.
You got to scratch that niche.
Scratch that niche. That could be a good shirt.
Yeah, nobody would get it.
Somebody did want, they were wanting or made a mention of "Make Dirt Great Again" shirt. I think that'd be a cool shirt.
Yeah, or the hat for sure.
Yeah, but they said Bobby Lee and Logan 24 or something. And I was thinking, I'm like, it'd be hard for us to run. Oh, there you go.
Sure, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
If you go see me,
Peter was like in the floor when we finished the episode yesterday, but. The bad thing, if me and you ran together, it'd be Hanks 28. Like there's no.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be just I guess it would be. Because this guy was like, I got my Bobby Lee Logan 24 "Make Dirt Great Again" shirt on when I went and voted.
But we wouldn't have. We could use first names because like Hillary, they wouldn't say Clinton.
Yeah, that's true. Hillary. Yeah,
I'm with her.
Well,
hey, I'll give a shout out. Gulch Hay Farms, which I think we've talked that they've messaged us before. He messaged me the other night, said, y'all should be recording a pod while watching these results roll in. Like doing a live show. I said, we'd be blackout drunk by the time this thing got over, which that was still kind of early. And I was like, dude, this is going to drag out forever.
Yes.
We'd be in a coma.
I literally stayed up until almost 3 o'clock. I stayed up until he finished like his addressing of the nation. And
see, I woke up and checked my phone because when I went to bed, I was like, it is over. Like, over.
What time was that?
Probably like 11.
See, it was
I
pretty.
mean, they had not called it, but like some folks were calling again Georgia and North Carolina for him. And I'm like, well, then it doesn't even matter.
Well, it was pretty exciting up really until about that point. And then from about probably 11:30 to damn near 1 o'clock in the morning, it was like a standstill. And that's
like, those assholes in Arizona are like, it might take up to 2 weeks here in Maricopa
that is
County.
bullshit.
Like, what?
That is absolute bullshit.
What? What kind of counting y'all do out there? Like,
yeah,
I was making
got to
fun
take my shoes off and count my toes too.
Like, what? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, y'all need to go talk to Ron DeSantis and figure out how they're doing it in Florida, and that should be the model for the whole country.
Before we finish this episode, I wanted to read. Did you see the 10 things that Trump has said he's going to do immediately?
I don't think so.
Well, it is badass. He put out a video just a little while ago.
In daylight savings time?
I guess. Oh, no, end it. I thought you meant like in. Yes, I wish he would say that. I hate this.
I don't care which time we stay on. Let's just stay on one or the other.
So I can be used to it, yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's so damn stupid.
Here's his 10. This is his 10-point plan to unravel the deep state, is what he dropped. So number one.
So this is one thing that I hope, if he can accomplish that.
He will be.
Well, two, it was the whole JFK thing. Like, does he totally open those files?
He'd said on Rogan he would.
I hope they can somehow get to the bottom of, was the deep state really involved in trying to assassinate him? I'm not holding my breath on that one.
Yep.
But stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I want him to just open the files on all this shit. Like, make it public record.
Well, you'll like a lot of this. Number one, restore the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, which is, I'm like, all right. So, two, and these kind of go hand in hand to me, fire corrupt actors in national security and intelligence apparatus. So he's going to weed them out. Again, this is what we wanted him to do in 16th. Drain the swamp. That's what we were saying. 3, reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. 4, establish Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, which would just blow the doors off.
That would include JFK, his assassination attempt, everything.
Yep.
January 6th.
Crackdown, number 5, crackdown on government leakers who collude with fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. Number 6, make every inspector general's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee, which I love that. I think that's a great idea.
I mean, that just makes sense.
It does. 7, ask Congress to establish independent auditing system to monitor our intelligence agencies and ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people. Like, right on. 8, I like this one too. I mean, I like all these. 8, move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside Washington, just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado. So basically just to move them to areas where you have people in those areas that fill those roles.
Well, yeah, I think it is kind of stupid that all the government, all the media, everything is like concentrated. That's what somebody's pointing out today, like how the media is so out of touch. It's like, well, yeah, they're like in these huge ass blue cities, like right there on the East Coast. Like, of course they don't have a clue about the pulse of middle America. Like, if they really wanted like a cable news show, like, put them in wherever, middle of, central Missouri, somewhere just right in the middle of the country.
Yep.
And so like, this is how most of us actually think.
Yep. Number 9, ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate, like with Big Pharma. I like that. Then the last one, number 10, this is something that I have wanted and said for so long, and that is push for constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. If he can get some damn term limits, because I would love that, man. I have wanted to see term limits on Congress and them forever.
I'd say Congress, Senate, everything.
I would too, yep.
That and if I was president, I think I would also few things.
Well, if you were like Trump, then you're gonna take away women's rights. You're gonna ban gay people. You're gonna banish them to an island. You're gonna take away all women's rights. They're not gonna be able to vote anymore.
There can still be lesbians, but only the hot ones.
That's right. Yeah. None of the
only the hot ones.
Yeah.
And they have to make out in public.
There you go. Yeah, that's the only acceptable case.
I mean, we can't be completely homophobic here, you know. Like, no, that's what I get so blown away. Like, he's race. Like, buddy, Trump don't give a damn about race.
He dated quite a few black women.
Like,
did you see he appointed his?
And that argument is so lazy and tired. Like, and I hesitate to call myself a Republican, but as a strong conservative, a lot of libertarian, leanings these days. In a rural, red-blooded, Bible-believing white dude that's evil.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're gay.
Yeah.
If you're a gay, transgender, lesbian midget. if they're the best person for the job, I'll hire them tomorrow.
Yes.
Like,
I just want the person that's best for the job.
Whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, skin color doesn't matter. Religion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sexuality, we don't care. Be good at your job. That's what we want. That, and I would make the Monday after the Super Bowl a holiday.
There you go.
I think everybody would be on board with that.
I think so.
Would anybody not be on board with that? And I'm not like a huge NFL fan, but hey, and Super Bowl usually gets over with fairly early. Like, it's not like a 8:00 kickoff. But still, it's like, man, you've been pounding beers and eating way too much food.
Recover.
Like, who really wants to get up and go to work the next day?
Or
I've never understood, why don't they just play the Super Bowl on Saturday?
Yeah,
because there's no other
that would make more sense.
There's no college football or anything going on at that point. Like, I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but like, let's just make the Monday after the Super Bowl a federal holiday.
I agree. Did you see where Trump did appoint Susie Wiles as his chief of staff?
Logan, no, he hates strong women.
That's what a lot of the comments people were like, wait, I thought he hated women.
Well, it's the whole thing. Like, how long before the true Democrats, the true believers are like, you know what? The reason we're so disappointed and so surprised is the media we listen to are so effing stupid and out of touch. I saw that.
That's what I see. This is one of my
favorites. It's a picture of
favorite.
Trump with a Hitler mustache.
It says, they tried to warn us. Trump gives victory speech sporting his new mustache. He's literally got a Hitler mustache. Babylon B, you guys got to follow him.
The View today, and I know the View is so, like, nobody.
Oh, man, I wanted to tune in.
I should not even mention the View and give them the satisfaction of a show as proud and popular as ours talking about them. But one of the black ladies on there.
Is it Whoopi?
No, it wasn't Whoopi. I don't even know who this gal is. She's irrelevant, but here I am talking about her. But she said it was uneducated white women that cost them this election. And it was actually a woman.
Wow.
She's the wife of an NFL running back. And she's actually white. Of course, he's an NFL running back,
So he's a white guy, naturally.
No, he's not the one in a million white NFL running backs. There's one like every, 15 years. But anyway, and she pointed out, she's like, how racist is that? Like, how
did she tell the girl? Was she on The View?
No, she wasn't on it.
Dang.
But like, she fired back at her on social media. Like, just reverse roles there. A white woman sitting up there after a black man had been elected and said, is all these stupid ass black women voting for this asshole, much less if they had actually used the N-word.
Oh,
like, which, good and well, if she would have had I guess she didn't, I guess there are slurs for white people, but whatever. It's like, how much of a double standard is this? She can sit up there and say that, a black woman bashing uneducated white women because they voted for a white man. Like,
oh, yeah. Yeah,
if black women were, if after Obama got elected, if a white woman was on a talk show saying, there's all these dumbass black bitches voting for this guy.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, like, what they call it.
You would get executed. Like,
what those people, like, on The View, and, there's two forms of racism. So there's racism, true racism, and then there's NPC racism. And that's non-people of color racism. That's literally a thing. It's the NPC, non-people of color.
I think there's just racism and there's racism.
That's what I would say. But they say, no, they're not the same. Racism is actual true racism. Non-NPC racism, I think it's like a lesser degree because it's not.
So it's when like a black person is racist against a white person?
Yeah, they'd be like, that's NPC racism, but it's not as severe.
So that's only like a misdemeanor on the racism scale. And,
yeah.
But white on black racism.
That's racism. That's the big crime. Racism. Yep.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Hey, I did see this as I was pulling up that Babylon Bee thing. The Biden administration is working to surge aid to Ukraine before Trump takes office. They're going to try to pump some funds to old Zelensky so he can do a little gay dance.
Well, and one other story, my wife actually showed me this. She got it from somebody on LinkedIn or something.
She uses LinkedIn?
She does
one
a little.
7 people.
And she's happy at her current job, but yeah, still, it's like, because I think a lot of people use it like find jobs, but
yeah.
What I guess it's just like social media for like business professionals.
Yeah, I'm on there just in case like Elon wants to reach out and hire me or something. You know, I would leave ag for that. Maybe he wants an ag advisor.
Big like supercomputer in Memphis or something.
He is. Yeah, he is.
It's because of our water.
Yeah, our water's awesome.
Yeah, and because they need the water to cool it or whatever. But anyway.
He wants our tasty water to cool this computer?
I don't know. It's something like that. But just to talk about the ag economy and how things haven't been really good. And like I say, it's with this whole new administration, it's kind of exciting. It's also, it's a little bit
nerve-wracking.
Yeah, because you're like, I don't know what's going to change, for ag.
Yeah.
But AGCO.
Yep.
Of course, Gleaner, Fent, Massey Ferguson.
All those shitty brands, yeah.
What else is under AGCO? I know Gleaner, Fent, Massey Ferguson.
Is Case?
No, I think Case New Holland is just Case and New Holland, and I don't know what else follows in it. But they just with the how bad the ag economy is, their third quarter they were down basically 25% compared to third quarter of 23.
Yeah. Challenger, not Case. It's Challenger. Challenger, Fent, Valtra, and Massey Ferguson.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were down how much? 23?
25% year over year for the third quarter, and just kind of went through.
I think they did quite a few layoffs, didn't they?
I didn't read the whole damn article, Logan.
I think some of them have actually started to implement. There's a new thing because things are so bad under Biden that they can't afford to lay you off. So I've heard they're just doing like executions in the office, like to just so they're not having to keep paying.
Yeah.
They have like an executioner that goes through and just pops them, chunks them out the window.
Well, if they're smart, they could that could be like must-see TV. You could stream
Who
that.
is it going to be? You could actually have like a Survivor series.
Yeah,
and vote.
Not even really Survivor. What's Hunger Games?
Did you say the Hungry Games?
Hunger Games.
Oh, I thought you said the Hungry Games.
I mean, it might have come out wrong, but yeah.
Those are damn good movies.
Oh, yeah, I like that stuff.
Those are good. Yeah, it could be like that. And the lowest performer gets executed.
I don't see where they say anything about layoffs. Not that there weren't, but this was just talking about just how terrible sales had been.
Yeah.
I saw a good meme, and then we'll get off.
Soybean prices even rallied under Trump today.
Oh, everything went crazy, but it was like you watch the Hunger Games and rooted for the resistance, and you watched, and it named like just all these movies where like even like the Star Wars, like whatever, like you're always in favor of the resistance. It's like, but yet you sit here and you're happy for the government to tell you whatever to do in your day. Like, anyway, I totally butchered that. You'd have had to have seen the meme to have understood it.
No, I get what you're saying. You're for the resistance, but at the end of the day, you're the
when it comes to your
overlord.
Like, anytime you're watching a movie or whatever, everybody roots for the resistance, and then in real life you're like, oh no, govern me harder, please.
Yes. You're on the queue tonight. You got one
again.
We start off with 2 words: made in America.
Yeah, you're up again.
You think he's happy today?
I don't think he gives two shits. I really don't think he gives a shit.
I'm not even sure. You know,
Part of me thinks he threw it.
Jill
wearing red.
Yeah, wearing like solid red head to toe. And I was like, that is because I wore a red polo to shirt or to work on Tuesday. Like, I always think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
My kids' school uniforms, they wear red, white, or blue.
You put red on them that day?
They were getting dressed like, no, you put red on.
Spray painted their khakis.
Well, they can wear red pants. No.
Oh, they got red pants?
No. they wear khakis or navy blue pants.
Okay.
But I made sure they wore red tops. But
well, have you seen the meme where it's like, it shows Biden walking off the stage and it says, Trump won by just one vote. Who could it have been? And then it shows Biden when he turns around and he smiles like, yeah, there is people that do believe that he like squandered it because he was pissed. But I mean, I would love that, but I think he's honestly on cloud nine. Like, I think that dude is, I really believe at this point in time, he might have moments of clarity, like when they might somehow stick him in front of a camera and he might can talk for like 10 minutes. But I really believe that dude's probably pretty much toast.
Yeah, and I don't know. Because what much people point out, like, he wasn't even planning on being at her, like, you know, I guess, what do they call it?
After party?
Where she could have done, like, her, you know.
Topless dance, I think she was going to do.
Yeah. I'm going to say acceptance speech, but like victory speech or whatever, you know, the watch party or whatever it is. So, yeah, I was like, I think it was a coup, basically, to oust him.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, back when Trump survived the assassination, I said they might as well just leave him up there. Because that was right after the debate. Yeah. They were like, they got to replace him. He's terrible. And I was like, well, at this point, they might as well leave him up there because Trump's unbeatable. Yeah. Like, after he survived the assassination attempt, like, why would anybody want to run against him? Might as well just let Biden be the sacrificial lamb and everybody else will, you know, focus on 28. But yeah. Okay. So our Made in the USA product, actually a company owned by one of our former guests. Oh. Protect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Made in USA. Better known, Made in the USA. Baker was on just a few weeks ago talking election stuff.
Yep. I've used Protect. I didn't think about them.
I drank one tonight right before I came over here. It's like I'm about to drink a little bourbon.
Gonna be hydrated.
Wake up a little parched in the morning. I'm going to go ahead and pre-hydrate before I dehydrate. Yeah, check them out. They make all kinds of supplements.
That's spelled Protekt.
Yep.
It's kind of didn't want people to be Googling. Yeah, like I can't find it.
I was helping my son do some spelling earlier tonight, and he was mixing up some K's and T's. But one of his spelling words was came. I'm like, that one is kind of tough because it literally says came.
Yeah.
Because he was like Kame, and I'm like, dude, I can see where you... That makes actually a lot of sense. Yeah. And it had me like question. I'm like, no, I know it's not K.
Yeah.
C-A-M-E.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it is Protekt. Protekt. Yeah. But they're liquid hydration formula. So it's, you got all these other goofy ass supplements probably aren't made in the USA and probably full of sugar. Yeah. That's one thing. I do the hydration formula, and I'm watching my carbs, and I don't consume any sugar. And these are zero sugar, 0 calories, no carbs, whatever. And it's a liquid. That's one of their big things. Like, hey, why are you taking a powder to mix in with your water? Like, these are little liquid supplements. But I don't know. Other than the hydration, what all do they have? I
think they have a sleep one.
They do. They have hydration, energy, immunity. And it's rest.
Yep.
And then they do just some supplements. Why not? But yeah, check them out. Made in USA. Good dude, Baker. He was on the right side of this election. He was pumped. Which, yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the 16 million extra votes. I think I immediately thought of him. It's like, I don't think necessarily a bunch of dead people voted last time, but there was a lot of ballot harvesting.
Yeah.
And the fact that they had all the extra mail-in ballots, because it was the Democrats literally like the last 3 of the last 4 elections. So what, 12, 16, 20, and 24, they've gotten 65 million votes.
Yeah,
I mean, 62
roughly
65.
right around there. Yeah.
That's what they get. That's the gross, or raw vote total. And then in 2020 was the one
81 million.
They get 16 million extra votes. They're like, oh,
yeah. Where the hell? And that's what it does make me.
Those people came out of nowhere. And they're like, oh my God, we have all these new Democrats. And then it's like 4 years later, oh, then now they're gone again. Where'd they?
Dude,
and maybe it was just flat out blatant cheating.
I do get frustrated because I like put up a thing. If he had lost the popular vote, I'd have really been pissed because that was my thing. I'm like, we need to send a message here. We don't need to just win the electoral. We need to win the popular. Because if he wins both of them, there ain't a damn thing they can say. And that was what I was urging people. And I'm going to give my boy a shout out here, Derek. So Derek, he's here in Tennessee, but his license and everything is in Illinois. And so he cannot vote here. He had to vote in Illinois. Illinois is a blue state. But that dude, man, I talked to him over the weekend, and he made a cool, he actually went and deer hunted, but he had to drive to Illinois to vote. And so he went, deer hunted, saw some family, and voted. And it's like, there's people around here that live 10 minutes from a place of voting. And those wiener heads were like, well, it don't matter. The state's going to go red anyways. I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like, we need the votes. And Baker pointed out, he was like, if you don't use your vote, who's to say that they don't use your vote?
Right.
And that's where, I know people that didn't vote, and they're like, hey, it don't matter. And I'm like, hell, for all we know, you are casting a vote. You just don't know it.
So I looked up our turnout. I was talking a couple weeks ago about, there's a bunch of old people there voting.
Yep.
But they didn't have a breakdown by,
age,
gender, anything.
Yeah.
It was just our total turnout in Tipton County was about 65%, which was actually pretty much dead on with the national
national average.
Yeah.
That's crazy, only 65% vote.
Yeah, a third of people don't vote.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, I mean, and I've talked to several. They were like, I didn't vote. I'm like, man, that's wild to me. I haven't flat out asked a lot of people, but I think most people, that I'm engaged with regularly did. Joe Rogan on his latest episode, or one of his very latest, it had to be because they were talking about the election, and he was like, he said, I learned a lesson. Voting matters. He was like, because we voted and it worked. He was like, it worked. He said, people can say, oh, there's no point in voting, this and that. And he was like, well, we voted for Trump and by God, he won. So he's like, look at that. It actually works to vote.
Yeah, there was one person I voted for that didn't win, but
Jill Stein.
No, I cast my vote for Trump in the presidential election. It was our.
You voted. No, he won. I was gonna say you voted for Steve Cohen.
No, that was the one I didn't vote for that won.
Yep, me too. Yeah.
The only Democratic congressional district in Tennessee Logan and I live in.
It pisses me off too. Did you see?
They redrew our congressional districts a couple of years ago, and now we're in the same district as Memphis.
So I mean,
so we keep going with Cohen, baby.
Yeah, we are. So they love him. I don't understand it. And the Charlotte Bergman or whatever that was running against him.
Well, I knew it must not have even been a contest because I was like, she didn't even I saw one of her signs anywhere and didn't get any junk mail.
She killed him in Tipton County.
Well, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
it was she got 7,000 votes, and he got 1,500.
She had 75%.
Yeah,
pretty much in Tipton County, people voted straight ticket because Trump had 75%. Marsha Blackburn had 75%, and Charlotte Bergman had 25% or 75%.
Yeah,
and all those won except Bergman. Of course, got crushed in Memphis,
and she was our only chance of beating him because she is a black woman, and but Steve is a white cockroach. He is a scumbag, scum of the earth.
Wait, and again, for our listeners outside the area, you have no idea what we're talking about, but that's our congressman, but
And he's
Willie Harrington, who was mayor of Memphis forever, the black man who was a race baiting black dude. Like he was terrible, but he couldn't stand Cohen. Like, they were always, for whatever reason, even though they're both Democrats. Of course, Steve Cohen's an old white dude, but
well, he probably
But Willie Harrington called him. He's like, he ain't nothing but an old black woman. So like how he described Steve Cohen. And I was like, I don't know what their beef was over, but they didn't.
Well,
like
he probably knew Cohen was full of shit.
Oh yeah,
Cohen is full of shit. That's what
he is. Like the definition of pandering.
Yes,
for votes.
I would bet all the money in the world that he probably doesn't like the people that support him, but he is just like, he knows what's going to get him in office. And he is oh man, I can't stand him. And I was so mad when Steve they redrew the lines.
Definition of like Memphis politicians, like like they'll vote for him. You know, somebody's got to primary him, but I mean, he's I was trying to look him up. He's getting pretty old.
Yeah, he's got to be in his 60s, late 60s.
No, he's older than that.
Is he?
I'm looking him up here.
90s.
He was born in 49, so.
Oh wow, he is pretty old. He's 70s.
Yeah, he's 6 years older than my dad. He's mid 70s. He ain't as old. He must have lived pretty rough because he looks older than that.
Well, he's probably sucked quite a few in his day, or his jaw.
Oh no, I just like looking at him and I'm like, my dad's not no bodybuilder, like extreme athlete in his late 60s.
What's he look like there?
I'm like, my dad could beat his ass. Like,
what's he look like now? Yeah, you just look at the dweeb. He looks like such a damn. I can't stand him. Just want to punch his face.
Yeah, I mean
he's got a very punchable face. Leave his glasses on and punch him in the face.
Oh hell, he went to Vanderbilt. No wonder.
Yeah, what a douche.
Vanderbilt and the University. But anyway, yeah.
Well,
we bored y'all enough with politics.
Well,
it's damn near the only thing to talk about. But we kind of tied it into ag.
We did. And guys, we don't know your thoughts. Send us an email. Go to talkdirtpodcast.com contact page. Send us an email. I want to say, one of the big shifts we saw here, Trump and his team really did it, is they utilized podcasts. And look, guys, that
long form conversation, it's not scripted, and I guess it could be scripted on a podcast, but yeah.
it's the way, and that's the way of the future. And look, I'm telling you, it's like it's not a far stretch. Hell, I had a congressman on my old show that was running for Congress in Arizona, Eli Crane. He won, and he's awesome. So I say all that to say, like, guys, this is why I'm harking on the ratings and reviews. Let's keep driving them up, because, hey, man, I got no plans of ending this show anytime. Bobby Lee doesn't either. Hell, we still are pumping them out. Next election there, shit, we might have J.D. Vance's ass or something on the show. Like, it's not
open invitation, J.D.
Yep.
Well, and that's the whole thing. Like, this conversation that you can have here where, I mean, I tried to make me some notes tonight to talk about, and I didn't bring them with me. Mm-hmm. It's just us sitting here talking. And that was Rogan's whole thing with why he didn't go to do, because he had tried to get Kamala on. She had open invitation.
Yep.
And like after Trump did it, they were like, all right, we'll do it, but you got to come to us. We'll only do an hour. He's like, no.
Yep.
That's not the Joe Rogan experience.
Yep.
Like, there's going to be other people there. You're only giving me an hour. Like, I don't have a list of questions I'm going to ask you. Like, of course, I've thought of stuff in my head, but we're literally having a conversation.
Yep.
I'm not here to ask you about what's your policy on the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, we want the American people to be able to know who you are, because we don't know shit about you. Like, like Trump's been a public figure forever. Like, everybody knows all his dirty secrets. I
still would love to have Trump. If I could have Trump on a show, like if we could get him on here, I would actually love to talk about how I would like to know the man's history coming up from him. Like, that's what I'd like to say. Like, he's been in the public thing, but I want to be like, man, like, what the hell makes you tick? Like, I wouldn't even necessarily care about talking politics with the guy. So, but...
Well, Trump, I mean, you listen to it like with Theo Vaughn.
Yes.
like stuff like that. Like Theo was talking about doing cocaine, but they definitely had cocaine references.
They did. Theo does quite a bit. He talked about it with J.D. Vance as well.
Yeah.
He was like, it's a sad day in America when you can't even do cocaine no more. And J.D. just busted out laughing.
I actually listened to that one too. We had to drive to Texas and back this past weekend, so I had plenty of time. But yeah.
Well, there you go, guys.
Which Theo is sober.
Yes,
but,
and he's in Nashville.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
right up the road from us. But yeah, he had, at one point in time he had
Quite a severe cocaine addiction.
Yeah.
Go to exaga.com, do your shopping, get what you need. It's coming up on Christmas.
Check it out. Take advantage of those deals, whether it's on the end of the year Belknap wrap or getting ready for some of the Christmas deals.
Yeah.
You ain't got to wait for the sale. Just use the discount code.
That's right. Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word. All right, guys. We will be back next week, and we expect to see some more ratings, reviews, and comments.
And for the Don't Talk Politics guy, we will talk at least less politics next week.
Yep.
Less politics next week. We'll we need to get a good guest on.
We do. Maybe JD will come on next week. All right, guys. Catch you next week.